Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. That was that timing. Hi, we're back for the penultimate of Neon Devils. uh, it's been a hot minute since the last episode, so we're happy to be back and obviously a little bit giggly about it. Um, Before we jump into everything, though, I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves and their character. And also, quick mention because the donation rewards are a little bit different. Quick explanation of the chart that's over here. There we go. Had to figure out where it was relative to my face. So the advantage and disadvantage on there just means that you would choose a player, and then on their next roll, with advantage, they roll twice and take the better of the two results, and with disadvantage, they roll twice and take the worst of the two results. Crits are the same, and then the asset and challenge one. If you choose asset, then the party gets to choose a single-use item, or hey, thanks for the 400 bits. Single-use item, or like a scenario or an event that happens in the session that will help all of us get through the session easier. And if you choose challenge, it goes to the GM, and they get to choose something that will make things a little bit more difficult, like an environmental hazard or something extra into an encounter or something like that. So you can kind of adjust the difficulty level of the session with that if you want a little bit. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, so again with the asset, the cast sort of collectively chooses it, and then the challenge, the GM chooses it. That's all of that. So introducing myself, I play Kat, who is a sarcastic, sort of little bit eccentric sorceress, paranormal cop, detective, which is a mouthful, but she's interesting. Also causes a lot of chaos. And then I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which obviously includes streaming, art, like the overlay and everything, and which was actually a collaboration with Yaz, and voice acting, a whole bunch of stuff. You can check all of that out in my link tree, which is right there in chat. And yeah, that's me. Pass it on down to Paladin. Tell us a little bit about Daniel and yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Paladin Hulk, Twitch moderator for Random Tuesday, Little Red Dot, and the Starwood Initiative. And today, as always, I will be playing Daniel Vanderveer, LAPD detective, and I have a good feeling that this is the episode where I find my daughter. Fingers crossed.
Here's hoping. Oh, that evil giggle is concerning. Par, tell us a little bit about James and yourself.
You are
You're muted.
Hi, I'm muted, and I'm also Par, known as Mr. Par around the internet now. Previously a much longer name we don't talk about anymore. I am playing James Cook. Nope, still just James Cook, because nobody knows about that. So I'm playing James Cook. I use the Crooked Playbook for Monster of the Week. Despite how that sounds, I am a cop. And I am a good cop. Mostly good cop. I lean on the side of good. Just a normal guy in the Fey realm, using a baseball bat and a gun to get my way. And with much limited success. You can find me around the interwebs and around here.
Fantastic. Next, we'll hop on over to Nate. Tell us a little bit about Marco and you.
Hello, I'm Nate, just a general advocate for anything tabletop. Not really active on many places online, but I'm playing the character Marco Overota, who is a werewolf of the Monstrous Playbook, the Monster of the Week. And looking forward to today's session. We'll see where it goes.
Fantastic. Next, we've got Econorlax. Tell us a little bit about Tabitha and you.
Hi everybody, I'm Ekinorlax. I play games on Twitch, both tabletop ones and computer games, and with single goal, meet new people, and get better at talking with them. And today I'm playing Sergeant Tabitha Urquhart. She's a sergeant in this paranormal department, and she's much more normal than para, I would say, because I'm playing mundane playbook. So yeah, I'm just an Orcish cop. Big person, big green person, 200 pounds of muscle and 20 pounds of donuts.
That's fair. Also, I think sometimes is the only thing keeping Kat in line sometimes, because she can get a little too chaotic. Last but not least, Yaz, tell us a little bit about you and this world that you've made, and take it away.
I am I'm Yaz. I'm like caught in my cords right now. I'm a graphic illustrator and visual storyteller. You can usually find my work on Twitter or Instagram under Tatiana Art. And on my website, where I actually just released a collaborative art piece that kind of relates to the game. And I'll pop a link for my shop into the chat there. And I wanted to really really quick recap what we last did in our last session, because it has been a couple of weeks. Our team had successfully rescued the children from the grasp of a Baku, a dream eater, and the episode starts.
How much percentage of the children did we rescue again? I just remember that it was enough, and that's basically it.
Almost. I mean, from what you were told, you rescued 7 out of 15 children, only to find out that there were significantly more kids that were missing, that were not in the police report. So
I think we're gonna need some backup.
Trying to figure out what's going on, you guys returned to the Autumn Court, where you met the Monkey King, who led you to the bridge that would take you to the first city. But he would not show you the way and split the shadow until Daniel faced him in combat, which Daniel blew him away. And beaten and broken, the Monkey King was obligated to open the gate and show them through, and let them know that they had to find tokens to pass the troll, which they did do with some very friendly and fun banter between the imp and the rest of the little folk. And they made it past the troll and over the bridge, only to come into the first city facing brutal combat, where they were able to aid a rust-haired woman and her compatriots in fighting these spectral entities called the Alfrey, these big bad primordial seeds of fear. They were able to kill one and chase and yeet another off a bridge. And now our team is sitting in the court facing who they were introduced to as the Rust Queen of the Rust Court. Is there anything that you would like to do before I slather on more description?
I think James would like to simp some more.
For the beautiful redheaded woman. We've
Yeah.
run into so many redheads.
It's true.
It's
Um,
perfect.
I really get to I always have a quirk for all of my characters, and sometimes they never come up, like last season, but this season they've come out.
Did Kat actually rejoin everybody? I can't remember if she finally caught up.
I think it would be safe to say that she eventually caught up. But I don't think she would have seen the Alfrey climbing out of the dead body.
Okay.
I forgot that happened right at the end.
Me too.
Yeah.
What was up with that?
So, you watched as the Rest Queen and her people started drawing and quartering the dead, essentially. And you stopped her to talk to her. And as you were talking to her, one of the dead that were whole, the essence kind of left his body and twisted into one of these Alfrey and ran off into the city.
Right.
Like a soulful parasite. Because
Okay.
Eldritch
Love
Horror.
that.
I mean, that's a way to put it. Sure.
So I think Kat would be showing up about this time.
Now, important question: do we still hear a genocide?
A little bit.
Okay.
You're never
a
gonna let
little
me live that one down, are you?
Have you?
You do still hear the distant sounds of battle and like this terrified screaming and squealing, and the occasional loud rumbly roar of something that seems absolutely impossible. Only an impossible thing could make a sound that scary.
But it's quieted down to more of a mass murder.
Yeah.
So how many people are on the scene? We talking several dozens.
You have, hold on, I might get this number wrong. You have about 6 standing people who are alive. And you are like shin deep in dead bodies. Just
Okay, so-
like wrecked, eviscera everywhere, muscle and sinew and organs strewn across the street. What used to be beautiful bronze cobblestones is now deeply red and rust colored as blood is drying on the metal and stone.
Well, this is horrible. Is everyone all right?
Well, I mean, my laundry bill is going to be outrageous, but otherwise, yeah.
I set my ears to the sounds of distant fight. Are those also your people fighting?
The Rest Queen kind of straightens up and darts a glance in the direction that you were suggesting, and she says, no, but I will take responsibility for them, and there is a lot of work to do, but for now, I need to make sure that all of you are okay so you can help me get to the root of this problem.
Is this normal here?
No.
Actually, now I check my character sheet. I'm not okay. I'm unstable. 4 out of 7.
Oh yeah.
It's good to remember.
How's the rest of you doing?
I am unscathed.
I have 2 damage.
I've got 2
All
harm.
right.
I had a feeling that staying back and shooting was the better choice there.
Oh yeah.
I'm at 1 harm.
Okay, cool. So Tabitha's worst off. So Tabitha, the Rest Queen kind of gathers her people up, and they're an assortment of absurd folks. You have, I'm going to introduce them as they talk to you because they've got some longish conversation pieces. Anyways, so the Rest Queen turns to you guys and says, I think it would be best for us to return to the junkyard where we can patch you up and make sure you're okay and formulate a plan for nipping this in the bud.
Lead on.
Yeah. The junkyard for a little TLC. I don't mind.
She turns around and starts heading back. And as you guys are following, you one of her people slows down to speak with Tabitha. And this figure is significantly larger and wider than you. Its body is bits of wood and broken mirrors dangling from frayed strings. Its feet, which it has many, are mismatched and made of scraps and shards of bone and glass and metal. Its hands have been lovingly crafted from the skins of teddy bears going up to the elbow. It wears a huge cloak that covers much, but strange sounds always come from its motion. Its face is cracked mask of porcelain, rainbow corruption bleeding out onto the surface. The bottom half of the mask can be disconnected and shows many different expressions. These lower jaws it wears as a necklace and pulls up to appropriate one as needed. It speaks up by pulling wax cylinders from within its cloak and handing them to the young boy who is its herald, who is a gramophone woven into its flesh, and though it looks painful, the boy feels no pain. I do have a picture of the herald, which I will send in the Discord chat in just a little bit. But
And the boy has a gramophone? Does he carry it, or is he?
it is woven into his torso.
I think we have
His
that
chest?
picture. Just
Yeah.
scroll a bit our Discord channel for the game.
Yikes.
I haven't posted the. I don't think I've posted it yet. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But
Well-
I'll post it again in just a minute.
If you
the
have two gramophone
thing.
people, then not.
Oh, there's only one, so I did post it. Thanks. So
Okay.
both Mr. He hasn't quite introduced himself yet. The Herald kind of flanks you on one side, and this hulking junkyard monstrosity sits at your other side. And he pulls out one of these wax cylinders from seemingly nowhere and hands it to the Herald, and the Herald pops it in and begins from the pipe that is, or the, I can't function today. The audio comes out of is sewn into his mouth, and he begins to say, "My name is Mr. Jangles, and I will be in charge of helping repair you. Could you please describe your wounds to me?"
Tabitha is unsure for a moment.
I'm not sure if I trust your healing skills if this is what you do to people. I point to the herald.
Well, what Detective Vanderville wanted to say is probably asking you if do you have any experience with mundane flesh.
The Herald switches out wax cylinders again and says, "I do, in fact, have experience stitching mortal flesh back together. And while I have not worked on your specific type of mortal, I cannot imagine it being too different than a human or possibly a fairy, depending on the fairy, of course."
Is Marco injured at all?
Yeah. Got some cuts and some stabs, some bites. You know.
Okay.
Tabitha
Marco, you want to go first?
Tabitha has a serious dilemma: Cat or Mr. Jangles? That are two such reliable medics.
Go first. Yeah, go ahead and patch me up, please, Mr. Jangles, if you would be so kind.
Yeah, Mr. Jangles. It is.
I'm gonna watch real close to see what horrors he performs on Marco.
So you guys arrive
Oh, to come back.
Yay!
There's a fix.
All right, the call's
or-
back.
Mhm.
And the stream's back. Yay. Sorry about that.
Yay!
Excellent.
My internet went down for a few seconds
When we
there.
last left our heroes.
So you come to a junkyard that's not really a junkyard. It's more of what looks like to be a very modest but very extravagant living area. It's much more cozy than the Autumn Court was. Just in kind of the closeness and smallness that it is. But upon closer inspection, you do find that the work of art that you are walking through is comprised of junk. You can make out old CDs and twisted gaming consoles and old chairs that have been repurposed into like the foundation of a wall. And once you arrive, Mr. Jingles, Marco goes first, right?
Correct.
Was that the agreement? Mr. Jingles has you sit up on kind of like a pedestal where you can show where you are wounded the most, and from the inner folds of his jacket, two smaller, very delicate, almost mechanical looking hands with long spidery fingers reach out and very deftly sew you back together.
All right.
And then the teddy bear skin hands give you a little pat on the side of the shoulder and hear your mwah.
Feel better already.
That's horrible.
Tabitha, do you feel comfortable enough to get your body stitched back together?
I most certainly feel intrigued enough.
All right. So the process is the same, but a little bit more in depth for you. And it's uncomfortable, but you don't feel any pain like you think you might without having anesthesia or anything for this process. But the hands kind of have to root around and fix a few things that were broken on the inside. And it's kind of a disturbing, surreal experience to have an almost alien creature that is like wrist deep inside of your guts trying to put you back together and not feel anything at all.
Does it take any liberties? You know, like, oh, you smoke. Let's, swap out those lungs.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
That'd be pretty cool. And then once and it almost feels like Mr. Jangles, the lady of light and color, is searching for something, and for just a moment you feel like this momentary heaviness is pulled off of you, and immediately you are now stable. And they pull out what looks like to be a black ribbon. And Mr. Jangles turns it around and throws it into the middle of the room, where the Rust Queen turns around and crushes it with a massive battle hammer that kind of came out of seemingly nowhere also. And the ribbon and the hammer go poof, and all that's left is black sludge on the floor. And the Rust Queen kind of gives you a look that's a cross between, how do you not know this already? And I'm so sorry you don't know this already. And she says, the Alfrey leaves something behind when they strike you. And not every time, but a lot of the time. And it will slowly corrupt you if it's not removed. But we are grateful that we have somebody who knows how to do it. And then Mr. Jangles proceeds to finish stitching Tabitha back up. And just as they did to Marco. They give you a nice pat and on the shoulder to kiss your boo-boo better. And you even get like little Hello Kitty band-aids to go
Love
over
it.
your stitches.
Wow.
I'll go next. I
I was
also
gonna
have 2 damage, so
I was gonna say, Kat
Yeah.
was going to just say don't worry about it until she heard that last part of like leave something behind. So she'll go after Daniel.
Okay, so
that's also why
Mr.
I'm going now, because that's concerning. I don't
Mr.
think I'm injured
Jingles.
in that way, because the thing that injured me is me.
Yeah.
Remember when I shot the gun? I think I hit myself.
Oh,
Or-
you did. You did. It burnt your hands and the recoil gotcha.
Yeah.
Mr. Jingles does check you out. He puts a little bit of salve over the bruised areas, but you are clean. Cat, Mr. Jingles doesn't pull anything out, but the porcelain face and the jaws that hang from the porcelain face kind of give you a look, like a maybe we should talk about this later look. And looks finally to James to ask if James needed any further care.
Oh no, I'm good.
Cool.
I
So
think-
once
Is Gabby hurt?
Gabby and that's a good question. I really got to take better care of my NPCs. We will say that Gabby has a gash across her upper arm, and Amelia also has a smattering of scratches and such. Gabby sits down, and the black ribbon is pulled out of one of her cuts and crushed by the Rust Queen. Amelia, however, gets a new gramophone put in, and
Hold up, what?
What?
sorry, the Herald takes on a new gramophone to speak to Amelia, and sorry about that.
I knew what you meant. I knew where you were going with that.
I didn't. I was like,
I
hold up,
did- yeah.
what?
Exactly.
Let me
the
just
same.
fix your wound, gramophone.
um
Just had a splinter.
So the gramophone gets changed out while Mr. Jangles, the Lady of Light and Color, is working on Amelia, and leans in and very gently says, "Do you know that you are half dead and half alive?" And Amelia just rolls her eyes and she says, "Yes, thank you, I do. Can you sew me up?" And Mr. Jangles looks at the cuts across her and says, "Your body will sew them up themselves. I do not work on dying flesh or undead flesh." And gives her like the pat and on the shoulder again, and sends her off. Now you are all healed. You have the presence of the court, and there are, so you have the Herald, Mr. Jangles, the Rust Queen, and 3 others that are kind of just milling about, observing you.
I'm just gonna be hovering around Gabby because she had one of those scary things pulled out. I'm concerned, so that will occupy my time for the moment.
Yeah, I thanked Mr. Jungles and I was observing the procedures done on Gabby and Emilia. How are we on harm now?
Everybody should be healed.
Okay,
Um,
0. Okay.
Okay. Once that they're done with everything, Kat's gonna go over to the person that was doing all the healing, and just kind of give a look of like, what was your look? Like, should I be concerned? What's going on here?
Mr. Jangles looks at you, hands a gramophone to the Herald, and the Herald says, Perhaps it's best that we get into this later. We have more pressing matters, and this does not concern those at this time.
I feel so not better.
um, so, the second hulking figure, they all have names, and I'm so familiar with them, it's really hard introducing them without their names first. The
They can just say, "Hi, my name is."
Yeah. So the second hulking figure among the Rust Queen's entourage is the word that I've been searching for all day. Steps forward and kind of sizes you all up, and in a very deep and rumbling voice talks. And it's almost like the sound of a radio giving feedback. You're not entirely sure, but he's made of mostly a full floor length robe of patchwork fabrics and leathers and various other materials, and pockets on everything. There's pockets on the sleeves, on the cuffs, on the body of the jacket. He wears a mask and goggles that covers his face with a wild shock of bronzy hair, kind of dreaded and matted coming out from the back of his skull area. You can tell when my descriptions get a little lost. And in this deep rumbling voice, and looking at each of you, he settles his eyes first on James, and then Kat, and then Marco, and then Daniel and Tabitha. And he had a thing he was going to say, and I forgot it. First, so then he looks back to Lance and Kat. Sorry, James and Kat. And says something along the lines of, well, you two are terribly notorious in this neck of the woods. We've had several Atau who are fleeing the city bring mentions of the names Cook and Continue. I suppose that you are here to help and not hinder.
Kat's doing the thing, like if you've ever seen The Emperor's New Groove, where the Emperor's just like, what? Somebody's throwing stuff. Like that expression is on her face. He goes, oh yeah, absolutely, here to help. Of course.
Tabitha snorted.
Like, why wouldn't I be here to help?
Yeah, here to help you and hinder everyone else.
Well, that, I suppose, is all that I can ask for. And then he looks at Marco and he says to Marco, you smell of copper and iron, but there is no metal in you.
Been marked by the Fame Wolf. Maybe you smelling that, but other than that, I don't know what to tell you.
It is possible.
It's a real
And then he
manly
looks
scent.
at Daniel and Gabby, and Jesus, why is my phone going off? Stop.
Because people want to talk to you.
I don't want to talk to them.
Oh,
I'm talking to you guys. I'm pretty sure it's my nephew who's calling me. And he looks to Daniel and he says, so you're the angel that's been making a mess tromping through the second city. And he steps
an angel.
towards you, and like he gives you the look up and down, and he says, you are more than what you seem to be. And he looks at Gabby and he says, and you are also more than you seem to be. And then after a long and pregnant pause, he finally turns to Tabitha and he says, "It is good to see a descendant of the Atau among mortals. And you are appreciated here in your valor and in your strength."
Do we know that word and what it means? Is it
The Atau, you've heard it a couple of times, and it's very possible that your characters haven't put two and two together, but Atau is the Fey word for non-passing humanoids, monsters, essentially. Well, non-monstrous monsters. So both Marco and Tabitha would be descendants of Atau,
Okay.
but
I
Marco
like that there's
spells
this
strange.
clear line between you're just a little too monstrous. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
those claws, they're just this much. Too bad. Monster now.
That's what the Atau are. And my nose is itchy. It's all that spicy spice. So sorry again. And Mr. Jangle, or not Mr. Jangles, the hulking figure steps back and says, "I am the Mad Prophet. And while I did not see all of you attending us in this dire need, it is appreciated that you are here." And he steps back for the Rust Queen to step forward, and she's a little bit more aggressive. She strides right up to Daniel, and kind of like with the tip of a fan, kind of like tilts his head up and turns your head side to side, willingly, of course. You may resist.
I'll give her a glare, but that's about it.
She says, "You don't look much like an angel," and she darts a very skeptical look back at the Mad Prophet.
We agree. I'm not. I'm just a guy.
And she leans in and she kind of gives you like a sniff. Like, you know how, like, just to kind of like test the air and see if you smell appropriately like an angel would be the only thing that I could
Just a
think
man
of.
looking for his daughter.
And Gabby, you can feel Gabby tense up as the Rust Queen leans in towards you.
She jealous? The fuck?
Gabby gets like she doesn't say anything, but she gets like super tense sitting next to you. Like you can feel her body shift. And the Rust Queen darts a glance down at her and back at you and gives you what could only be expected is a wicked smile, before crossing her arms and stepping back. And she looks at the rest of you and she says, "What is it that has brought you to the city in the first place?"
I mean, feel free to examine me too, just saying.
Okay. She gives you a look and she says, perhaps. And then this is where she asks you what has brought you to the first city.
While we are happy to render assistance in any person in need, we have come here with a specific mission. We are LA police, and we are looking for children taken from our town by Alfie, as you call them.
I'll get the
Sorry, go on.
picture of my daughter. Like, have you seen her?
The Rust Queen looks over your picture and she says, "I have seen another angel that looks an awful lot like your picture." And Gabby, like, again, like white knuckles, like narrows her eyes at this woman, but doesn't say anything.
we rescued some children in the second city, and the information they gave us brought us here. The remaining children are supposed to be kept safe. I say the words like a bit hesitantly by a lady with moonlight hair.
Sound familiar?
Familiar with somebody like that?
The Rest Queen kind of like sharply inhales and narrows her eyes and mutters something that probably only Marco would be able to hear because of his sensitive ears, which is something along the lines of, I can't believe that bitch.
I think we can get that from body language alone.
Yeah.
And she sets her jaw for a minute, debating on what she's going to say, and she says, there are not many women in all of our kingdoms that could be described having moonlight silver hair.
Okay. So you know where she is?
I mostly do. Her presence is a little flitting and ever changing. However, if this woman is caring for the children, it may be better to leave the children in her graces until we can handle the problem at hand.
Yes, preventing further kidnappings would be also, I guess, in our agenda.
The Alfrey will not stop.
That's what we gathered after, what we were told in the second city.
So how do we stop them?
So
I expect the normal way.
the Rest Queen kind of like she starts pacing as she speaks, and she says, the Owlfree, being a primal seed of what they are, makes it nigh impossible to completely annihilate them. However, with a bit of help, we may be able to corral them back into the third city.
So what's your plan? Where do we come in?
You seem to be tenacious enough to at least keep the Alfrey occupied while some of us handle the behind the scenes things. But what we need to do, and what could be considered a larger problem than the Alfrey themselves, is why the Alfrey have been set free. Now, the third city was built by Baba Yaga, and I'm so used to saying Baba Yaga that it's really hard to transition between the two. By Baba Yaga to imprison things that shouldn't exist, and to imprison fairies who have attempted the utter annihilation of mortal kind. Now, there is one such entity that has been trapped in the third city that could be the rotting cause of why the walls no longer are holding the Alfrey. And we may, in fact, need to put, what is a good way of putting into words what I mean? We need to chase the darkness back into the third city. And whether we enlist some of the help of the courts, or and her eyes, as she's talking, her eyes settle on Daniel, and she says, or you find a manner in which to be powerful enough to push it back yourselves.
Cops.
Oh, actually, since we are talking about limitations, maybe it's time we contacted the captain.
We did
We
have
said
signal.
we said we have back the phones.
Yes, you do have cell phone usage back.
Can't exactly send a squad car out here.
Yeah, but
At the very least, we can check in.
Sure. If you miss him, give him a call.
no, that's not like it, Daniel. It's simply if we are to save the world, let's make sure headquarters
Getting
knows.
paid? I don't care about the money.
Yes, no, a bit. I mean, it's right thing to do.
Look, a phone call won't take long.
Both save
Feel
the
free
world
to
and
call him. Then we can get on with things. Well, go on.
I mean, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Saying back to
it's
the
fine.
queen.
Give him a call. Let's get this over with.
Yeah. Okay. What hour is it?
Your cell phone shows that it should be 7:22 in the evening. 7:22 p.m.
Let's wait for 4 a.m. to call.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm. Punching the number. I mean, press the call on the captain.
Cat looks to Tabitha and goes, and by the way, I'm indisposed. I'm not here. Like, if he asked to talk to me.
Why you would, but I have also no interest in talking to him.
I'm here, but if you try to put me on with him, I'm just going to summon the imp.
Yes. Yes, have the imp call the captain at 4 a.m., please.
I had no intention of letting you talk. Letting him talk with you. Don't worry.
Well, I'm a nice amicable guy. Really amicable.
Does he pick up? Or
He, the first call that you do actually sends you to a message machine, which is very unusual. The second time you call him, you actually get the secretary, who seems to be out of breath and a little bit frazzled when they pick up the phone.
Sergeant Urquhart here.
Oh, we thought you guys were murdered on duty. Are you guys okay?
We've been out of range in the ferry city, pursuing
Okay.
the case.
When are you guys coming back?
We found half of the kids, some of the kids that were missing.
Good. Good. Look, things are getting really dicey here. We're going to need reinforcements. Are you able to just put a pin in this and come back?
I think this might be the cause of possible craziness.
What are exactly the dicier things happening?
The city is suddenly overwhelmed by a bunch of ghost dogs, I think. I mean, nobody could give me a clear analysis of what's going on.
Black and scary and shadow?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Okay. I cover the microphone with hand and say to the party, LA is under attack by the Alfri, so I guess saving the world is on the menu anyway.
Hey, tell them to put Karoff on the case.
Okay, so let's say the creatures are also responsible for kids missing. We're going to save the town anyway. Then
Ooh, okay. I'll
Wait.
leave that in the notes.
I motion for the phone.
I shush James hand away.
Give the phone. Give the phone. Come on.
Okay, so pass the memo to the captain. We'll be back when we
So,
save
come on.
this when we save the city or die trying.
Okay. Yeah. I'll let him know that your vacation or whatever is going to be extended.
That's not vacation.
Vacation.
What do you
Vacation,
want?
we're on
I
the
asked
clock.
James.
I'm on the clock this whole time. Hand me the phone.
It's not captain. It's just I give the name of the.
That's
I'm
fine.
counting this as overtime and hazard pay.
Yeah, I will make sure that it all goes into paperwork.
So you asked about. Sorry, say that last part again that you told the secretary.
That we either save the city anyway or die trying.
Okay.
Searching for the kids.
Yeah. You know what? I'll add that to your notes later. Is there anything else? Because I'm kind of knee deep in the dead right now.
Oh! Important thing. But I suppose you probably know that by now. I'm looking for in my head for the
They
word.
infect people. That's what you want to say, right? That they infect
Yeah,
people?
exactly. They infect the people and get more of them appears that way. You should probably burn the bodies or something.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, I'll let the rest of the department know. Thanks
I
for the
shake my
one
head.
helpful amount of information that you've given me.
Oh, that's not how it is going to go. Okay, I give the phone to James now.
Yes, sir. Hello. Yes. While us spooks are down here, dealing with this, we've all come to a group decision that Groff de Verne, for the purposes of helping the city survive, is temporarily a spook, and you should put him on all ghost dog related cases. Like Overwatch. Yes. Before we left, we were grooming him into a position to be part of the spooks, but this is the real, trial. So feel free to just load that up on him. He's ready for the pressure.
Have you roll charm for me or manipulate someone?
Oh, tough. Put Groff on. That's my charm is -1. But if I throw in a threat of violence, I can do tough instead.
We do have 5d6s, so feel free to use one of those.
Yeah, add a d6 to that roll.
Sure, I guess let's just try to charm. And what is it? 9.
All right.
What?
You are semi-successful in the event you essentially need to trade something for them to do this thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the coercion or the bribery that you are going to use to convince them?
Can I help James?
Yes.
Well,
If he-
Groff is big guy, so it will be a good idea anyway.
All right. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, after you tell him, you should probably, just say, love from James.
All right. So the person is the secretary is like, all right, fine. It sounds credible enough. Yeah, I'll rush the memo to superiors and have them put on it immediately. Was there anything else you wanted to report?
My day's going fine. How about you?
I'm wanting my phone back.
The secretary hangs up on you, has nothing left to say. And with that, I think we're going to take an earlier break than usual today, because the next half of this episode is going to be a bit long. We should be able to end by the time, but I think now would be a good breathing point. Unless any of you have something else that you want to ask in this scene real quick.
I do have something I want to say, but I want to talk
Me
to
too.
Gabby for a second.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn to her and I'm gonna say, did you hear that about LA? That they're dealing with, well, this as well?
Yes. She takes kind of a shuddering breath.
I've been very focused on just getting our daughter and getting her back to LA where I thought she'd be safe, but it looks like that's not going to be able to be possible as it is. So I think I should solve this problem if I can. I think we should solve this problem if we can. And maybe
When she looks up at you, you can see the hardness in her facial expressions kind of soften a little bit.
I'll save our daughter, but if I can't get her somewhere safe, then there's no point.
And she kind of reaches up to like sort of like fix the collar on your shirt, and you would recognize this as a habitual gesture, something that she's done for you for a very long time in the past. And she says, I understand.
I'm so sorry, sweetie. I've put my work first for so long, and I thought this time I would put you and her first. But I don't think I can. I don't think that's how it works.
You see emotion kind of well up behind her eyes, and she grits her teeth for a second, like, and you can't tell if she's about to be angry or if she's just holding back tears or both. And she takes another shuddering breath and she says, I understand, Daniel. And I haven't been very fair to you while we've been doing this.
It's fine. I deserve it.
I can't handle it any longer. I slap, half gently Daniel in his shoulders. Come on, entire world has gone tits up. That's not something you can really take blame for.
Maybe. Now, I can't. This is all... I point to the sky. This is all his fault.
Gabby gives you like this look for just a moment where like she had forgotten about your whole head trauma, and then it like dawns on her. She's like, oh yeah, you believe in that god.
No, she does too.
Yes, but
It's something we share,
a little
but
bit differently.
yeah, it's a little different. Like that, this is just how the world and everything is built. It's built to do this. This isn't an accident. This is the point. I just have to keep this shithole together long enough for my daughter to have some sort of happy life. As much as possible, anyway.
At this point, Gabby reaches out again, but this time she like gently touches your face to kind of pull your gaze back to her, and she says, well, I guess it's about time we start standing up to gods.
Yep.
I think Cattle.
I'm glad we're here
kind of-
together. And I'll like pull her in a little, give her a side hug.
Cat will like slide over to Daniel's other shoulder.
Well, do you want a hug too?
But no, I don't want to hug. I was just gonna say, if we're standing up to gods, like, that sounds pretty fun. And also, well, you seemed kind of down, so. And she reaches in her coat and pulls out one of the Alphonse tacos from the bag in her coat. You want a taco? Would that taco help you feel better?
I mean,
They're really
yes, but isn't it stale? How long have you been carrying that thing?
Oh, like a couple hours. I don't know.
Been
Yeah,
like
it
6 or
feels
7
like
hours.
weeks, but actually we are mostly on one day.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think maybe you should keep that
Gets
for
me like-
yourself.
I don't know. I got it today.
I'm unsure.
They're Fey tacos. They don't.
What kind of food is
Come on.
available here?
When did
Cat
we get
just-
sappy?
Cat just shrugs and starts eating the tacos. All right, more for me.
Okay, actually, Kat, you mentioned hazard pay. The way the things sounded back home, it's more like we either save the world or we don't get paid at all.
What?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hate this job sometimes.
But if we save the world, we should get double hazard pay.
Sounds. There's probably no proper column in the files for that, so you get nothing.
We'll deal with that when we're
Okay,
done.
we'll get hazard pay and then we'll have a contract negotiation because I think we'll be in a really good position to leverage that. They're like, what, you want free Alphonse tacos for lunch every day? I don't know if we can swing that. We can just be like, remember that time we saved the whole world?
Okay, that's not how bureaucracy works.
Yeah.
Well, it should be. Cat
just get a-
like wanders off.
Good job, kid. Here's a piece of
Exactly.
metal that we gave significance and a little bit of ribbon attached to it. That's what you get. It's worth nothing, but
Okay, so
Medals of
let's go back to saving the world.
yeah, let's get back to it.
Yeah, Cat just sort of
Let's
wanders off
take our
muttering
break.
about how she should have been a PI.
Should have been.
And
Make an
scene.
excellent PI.
And scene.
All right, let's take our 10-minute break and come back. I am gonna go get more tea so that my brain will catch up a little bit more.
I'm gonna get more coffee for the same reason.
Cool. Okay.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks for hanging out, waiting for us on the break. What happens next?
So the you guys are kind of given the opportunity to, like, you're provided some foods. You're kind of given the opportunity to take a breather. In the junkyard, you cannot hear the distant sounds of battle. So you're able to find a little bit more peace of mind. Is there anything else you'd like to do, or questions you'd like to ask before we start hashing out a plan?
I think the plan is what we want. Right?
Hey,
I think,
go on.
I do think Cat will probably have some upbeat music playing to help get everybody's mind off of the horrible sounds they just heard. Just pull
What
out
kind
her
of
phone.
music?
The first song to come to mind is "Magic Carpet Ride."
Alright.
The band who does that escapes me at the moment, but it's a like classic rock era.
Okay.
Motorhead?
All right. So you've got that playing in the background, which elicits some strange looks. Before you get into the plan, there are two figures that haven't really approached you guys at all. One of them is a very tall, severe-looking woman, and she wears something very similar to the same period of the Rust Queen, but in gray and blacks, and that's a Victoria era bodice and skirts. She doesn't seem to have any of the hoop skirts or the anything that would make her dress like poofy. So it's all very form-fitting. And she watches all of you, but she stays back and she hasn't said a word. Her counterpart, however, is a shorter, kind of twisted gentleman who at first glance you would assume that he has leprosy, but as you take note, you can tell that the boils and sores across his skin shimmer and shine like jewels, and he approaches you guys, but mostly approaches James. And as he gets closer, you realize that they are in fact jewels that are growing out of his skin. So he's rhinestones and jewels encrusted over his body in a pattern that looked like it could have once been leprosy. And he puts a like a elbow up on James's shoulder, in a really friendly gesture, almost like he knows you. And you've never met him. I mean, as far as I know, you've never met him before. And I just suddenly forgot his name. I think it was
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh
Rhinestone
no!
Cowboy.
I forgot his name. Hold on. I have notes on this.
This is fine.
1 second.
Meanwhile, James is just like, "Hey there, sport."
Hey there, buddy.
So he cozies up to you. I will save his name for just a moment. Okay. And he says, Cook, Mr. Cook, James Cook, you are a patron saint in my book, and I would love to have a chat with you. My name's Unwanted. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And like, he's uncomfortably close, distinctly smells like gin or whiskey or vodka or all of them at once, and you cannot put your thumb on it. And he looks at Kat and kind of leers at her and immediately turns his attention back to James. And he says, James, good boy, would you like to take a walk with me for just a moment? Ah, yes, please. I have much to talk to you about.
It's like magweed all over again.
Cat's just arching an eyebrow at this guy. Like, excuse you.
Or, pal, let's have a chat.
You gonna be okay, James?
Well, if I start screaming,
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll set his shoes on fire.
it's pretty funny.
So, oh my god, I just had an idea. Anyways,
Don't do it.
ADHD, kick it in. So unwanted, like very chummily, kind of like escorts you towards the back of the room or down a hallway that is made like the majority of the hallway is all stained glass, but it's all junk art stained glass. So it's like broken pieces that are stitched with copper wire together to create these mosaic stained glass pieces. And he walks you down, and in this hallway, like he glitters, like he is fabulous. And he says, "So, there was some people here that were looking for you, but they seem to have cleared town. Funny how that works. Anyways, I had some questions about you. Seeing as you are a little, I don't know, not like the rest of them, a little, little uncut, rough edges, whatever you want to call it."
I'm not like the rest of them because I am literally just human.
You know that there's nothing wrong with being literally just human. You know that humans are the best part about this entire existence. I love humans. I love you, and I want to help you out.
All right, what are you trying to sell me here? All right, am I getting scammed into Fey realm? Is that what we're doing now?
He cackles, like throws his head back, cackles, pulls out what is distinctly an opium pipe, and lights the contents of the bowl up and begins smoking and offers you some.
I'm just supposed to trust this, or
It's your call.
Interesting. You mentioned those people, but why?
Why? Because I was once one of you. I was a human. I was the lowliest, most degenerate, unwanted human there ever was. That's why I'm unwanted.
Wow. People just call you unwanted?
It's a pleasant name. It's the name of my domain. I care for all unwanted things.
What's your actual name?
I don't remember anymore. It's been too long.
I still remember mine.
I have been alive for a couple hundred years. Have you?
No, but I was still hoping I get knocked on the head and forget.
Mortal minds are so finicky. I could take those memories from you.
As much as that would be pleasant, I also kind of got to remember the enemies I have.
That's fair. That's fair. You didn't want any of this?
Sure. What could go wrong?
He hands you the pipe and the lighter, or the matchstick, I guess, in this case. And finds a momentary fascination with the wall, plucking at the, fidgeting with the copper stitching between the glass. And as you partake of the opium, and then he turns back to you and he reaches into his pocket. He says, "You seem like good folk, and perhaps in the event that you are no longer wanted among mortals, you could join me here one day." And he reaches out and hands you something. He says, "I found this little trinket just the other day, lost in the debris of the junkyard and the wasteland beyond where we are. I think you might find it comes in handy." and he hands you what looks like to be a tooth. It's probably about like the length of your pinky or your thumb.
You know, I'm actually good. I'm actually good on that one.
You don't want the tooth?
You know, great gift and all, but
You're doping out of the tooth? That's fine. That's fine. He tucks it into like the coat pocket and taps it. He says, "That's all right. I'll use it for something else. No worries."
I don't mean to offend you, but you know, the tooth gift is kind of a strong first gift to give someone. You kind of work up to that.
He responds. He says, well, you know, no time like the present, but to show your feelings. Am I right?" And he winks at you and turns on his heel, straightens his jacket out, and just kind of very slowly trots back, smoking his opium pipe.
Is that coming on to me?
I am going to need you to roll. What would it be?
I don't.
Your health.
Am I gonna have a vision quest right now? Vision quest.
Roll cool for me.
Cool, huh? No, actually, I feel like I never roll cool. 9.
Nice. So you're not knocked out on your ass, but when you return to the others, it is very clear to them that you're not entirely altogether there. And we'll come back to what you're seeing in a minute. The counterpart for Unwanted Forgotten still doesn't approach you, doesn't talk, just kind of watches you guys. And I believe that is all of the entourage for the Rust Court that you have now kind of met. The Rust Queen, after kind of she has to run around and gather some things and talk to people and sending underlings on missions and such, and she comes back and she calls you back all together.
Stand by, Yaz. Your mic has gone a little underwatery.
Oh my god, hold on. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I was reading the chat. So the okay. Let me see. I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. She calls you all together and she stands before you, looking absurdly fierce despite her small frame. And you can tell like her outfit had once been white and is stained with rust patterns that match the scarring across her skin and the white shock through her rust red hair. And she meets you with her heterochromatic eyes and looks at all of you and she says, the next this plan, I don't know how valid it is as a working plan, but we're working with so little right now. I believe that we could create a distraction to draw the Alfrey in, and if I can confer and reach out to the other courts and the other people to come together and to usher this monstrosity back into the third city, I think that's going to be the best way that we can do this.
That's going to get it from everywhere, including LA.
If we can trap the majority of them in the city of Bone, all of these offshoots, these predecessors that are coming off of them, will fall, like they'll disintegrate. So if we can
Okay.
get the primary entity to us to usher back, the rest will follow, so to speak.
Get a bunch of them together and then stick them back in the prison.
Yes. Now,
And what makes us think the prison that they escaped from before is going to hold them this time?
well, up until now, there hasn't been a problem, but I believe that if we can cut the head off of the snake that let them out, we may be able to quell any future escapes from the third city.
Yeah, I assumed that was not a random event they escaped. So how really did it happen?
So there is a folk tale, and I didn't witness it. I was too young at the time to know, but they said that the first Autumn Queen, I believe you mortals call her Demeter, and was imprisoned after she lost her daughter Persephone to Hades, and she, enraged, started the plague that swept across the world and decimated millions of people. Now, we may not appreciate all the time what humans do for us, but to completely annihilate mortals as they are is one of the greatest sins a leader can do or commit. And she was locked away, but she is the only one that could even have a fraction of the power that it would take to peel the walls apart of the third city.
And strengthen them then, presumably.
If she wanted to, yes. But getting into the city is not the problem, it's the getting out. And I believe that Demeter will likely not be an issue now, but in the future. And we can either handle her immediately, or we can handle her when the problem arises. Our priority, however, is to get the Alfrey behind bars and sealed again, and sealed in a way that she can't let them out.
It does sound like she's the linchpin. If she let them
Exactly.
out, she can stick them back in for good. We just need to
I-
stop her or get her to help us. Where is she right now?
Why? If are their escape her doing?
I believe that she is the reason for this. Her and her people are the only ones that have the power to do anything like this.
Her and her people being gods?
Yes. Gods that have been condemned to an impossible realm.
Alright. Any more of those?
I only know of one other whose name is Lakshmi. But I am unsure of what other gods may follow her. Some gods, when being placed, and other entities being placed into the third city, lost their minds immediately to madness, and therefore lost their power, but some thrived in it.
I look at Daniel. That sounds like... Well, I'm not all about money, but consider it just a saying above our pay grade.
Yeah. My guy's not going to be any help either.
I still think that luring the Alfrey back is the best remedy for our immediate situation. But if you wish to pursue Demeter, I can help you.
I mean, if she's just going to let them out again.
Exactly.
She might. She is an awful, awful person.
Putting someone in a room is pointless if the door is open.
Yeah.
Well, the door can be closed. It's just a matter of time that that door is opened again.
Right, but she's the one opening it.
Yes, that is correct.
So where is she right now, Demeter?
She's in the third city.
All right.
I have...
She's imprisoned there.
Or she resides there. If she can let the Alfrey out, there's a great likelihood that she herself can escape.
Maybe that's what she was trying to do and accidentally let them out instead.
It's possible. Do you dare go to the third city to hunt her down in the miasmic chaos that the city of blood and bone is?
I mean, I was hoping we could just call her and be like, hey, so the shadow thing, is that like the plan or an accident or but no?
Well, unless she's completely mad, she has some reason to do everything she does, right?
Mm-hmm. We just want to talk to her.
I do not think that she will respond, but we can try. We can try and call the goddess of harvest to the first city. And you can see, like, there's concern on her face when she's talking about it. Like,
things are already, you know.
Right, they're all screwy, but she's a little extra unsure about this calling her. But the queen is willing to help out and do whatever you think it takes.
Marco, James, you've been quiet. What do you think?
I was wondering if Your Majesty, the Rust Queen, has any idea what would be the best way to get them back, to lure them into the third city. How would we go about doing that?
Do we toss a kid in? Is that the plan?
What?
They want kids?
What?
That's the plan, isn't it?
No.
The Rust Queen looks at Marco, and you can see, like, she's doing really hard not to look at anybody else, maybe a specific person, when she talks. And she says, there is a type of mortal that the Alfrey want specifically. I mean, they'll take whatever they can get, but there's a specific type that ensures the changeling method, that they will be able to procreate and stay, that if they got their hands on this type of mortal, that they wouldn't just dissipate when the collection of them are herded away, that they would officially be split in two. They wouldn't just be made of stardust.
Yeah, you mean kids. We get it, right?
It's not just kids.
No?
Daniel. She doesn't make eye contact with you, but she does turn her body towards you, and she says, Daniel, do you understand how fairies are made?
I have no idea.
We don't procreate like you mortals do, but when
No, you're
Fae...
missing out.
I mean, we do. We just can't. We're sterile that way. That when a human spends enough time among our people, our essence is rubbed off on them. and it changes them permanently. And that's how changelings are made. And eventually you lose your humanity and you become a fairy completely.
Is that what's happening to my daughter? She doesn't look like a fairy. She looks like me.
The Ruskweed gives you just like a long look. Like a... And how long did you spend with her?
Oh, but I'm not a fairy.
No,
Just a
but you
guy.
are born of angels and it works very similar. Dog.
No way.
Gabby looks
How
at
come
you.
she's not an angel? I spend way more time with her.
Gabby looks at
Are you
you
secretly an angel?
and just like, she's like, I don't, like, no, I'm not an angel. I don't sprout wings. I don't look like what Gabby looks like. And
You are Gabby, sweetie.
I mean,
That's your name.
Angelica, sorry.
It hit really hard.
Woo!
Gabby's a changeling. It's not really Gabby. No, that's false. Don't
Oh,
take that.
I would hate that so much.
It's just like a red herring this entire like season. Gabby's like, I don't know. I have no idea. She never even like displayed any of these traits until we saw her earlier.
You're full of shit. What the hell? There's
The
no way that
Rust
works.
Queen is like, oh, that's fine. But to answer your question, Marco, Daniel and his daughter would be the perfect lures.
Yay, luring people.
Alluring option.
I mean, I'd rather not, but if that works,
I think that's the best bet short term. And then maybe once we're there, might be able to go say hi to Demeter's face with our fists. See if we can't change her mind.
Oh, well, okay.
there's no way we're using my daughter though. And I'm gonna need everyone to just be on board with that it's not gonna happen.
I mean, I think she might be more powerful than you give her credit for, because she did just pull our asses out of the fire a
That's
couple
great,
hours
but we're
ago.
not sacrificing her to stop this.
Yeah,
I'm
this
not
is
sticking her in the shadow realm.
not about power.
I wasn't implying that we leave her there, but get a good old fashioned bait and switch. She's got wings now.
Well,
Pretty mobile.
Look, he's being the protective parent. You just gotta
Fair.
let him have it. You just gotta
Totally
let him have this.
that's out of question.
Gotta let him
Marco.
have this.
Trust me, that's.
I'll stand there and I'll be all come and get him. If that's what it takes.
I think at this point, Kat comes back from magically finding like a restroom somewhere because, you know, I was gone for a little bit. And goes, wait, who are we sacrificing now?
Well, it turns out I have to stand in that weird dimension and be all like, here I am, come get me, and then they'll all flock to me or something.
The Alfrey have a hard on for Celestials, apparently. So we might be able to get Daniel to lure them back into the third city.
You know, the queen had a whole
Possibly.
speech about how fairies procreate and it was weird and made no sense.
Everyone is really uncomfortable.
I missed the sex talk? Kat just looks so sad. I can't believe I missed the sex talk. Damn. Okay, so you're the bait, and then they all get sucked into the city somehow, and somebody seals it up.
Guess so. You think you can get me out of there if I'm in there?
Probably not.
Well, fuck.
I mean, I can certainly try, but there seems to be like in our world, I know this spell works like wherever we want to go, but here it seems like everything's split into like
Yeah.
regions,
And it is a prison.
I can teleport within a region, but I can't teleport across regions for some reason.
All right.
So I wouldn't count on that. What we
One-way
could
trip.
do is maybe choose someone who's here and responsible for this realm to maybe do this instead of, us cleaning up the messes of people here.
I mean, hey, if we have someone else to shove in there that's not me or my daughter, and I'll give Kat a hard stare for that one because she was absent, then by all means, let's find whoever that is and give them the talk.
The
Cat looks-
Rust Queen interjects, and she says, as much as I would love to pawn this off on one of our people, or even myself, the Alfrey do not have interest in us except as mere hosts. They want you guys, and that's the only way to lure the first ones to you. And there are no other Celestine in our cities.
God damn it.
Okay, so just to close that avenue off, Demeter has power over them or only power to release them?
Power to
Do they-
release them.
They don't obey her, like, or something like that.
Not really. I mean, that would be the safe assumption because the Rest Queen wouldn't technically know that either, but not really. They operate as pure evil just to fuck everything up.
Fear and harvest don't,
Okay,
they're
so
not the same.
even
just-
if we charm or something like that, Demeter, that's luring Alfie back is unavoidable.
Yes.
Okay.
How do
And
we even
just to
get me
be-
into the prison?
Clear, like, and Kat looks over at Marco, like, the big puppy, your friend there, Marco, like, they wouldn't work for this.
They don't seem to be attracted to me, but I could shift into my
No,
final
not
form.
not you, Marco, the big one.
Oh,
his name?
Fenrir.
Yeah, that one.
No, they're different entities. When he's the god of fear, they're like primeval, primordial, nasty fear.
Right,
different.
but Demeter's also a god, and Fenrir's a
Okay.
god. So
We're talking about gods so very calmly.
Yeah, well, it's not like we haven't been partying with them for a while.
Yeah,
Past
we've
couple
They
come up with
hours.
sound
so
like a
many.
lazy bunch. We have to deal with their mess now.
Exactly.
Gabby clears her voice and kind of like tugs on the back of Daniel's shirt. And she says, we are talking about overcoming gods. Why would we ask gods to do a man's work?
I don't know. They've all been pretty useless.
And she nods. She's like, yeah.
Maybe it's best to just deal with this ourselves.
I don't know. There's just this old phrase that keeps coming to mind where, with great power comes great responsibility, and all your gods seem to be taking, fuck all in terms of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Gods don't operate on the same laws. And the Rest Queen shrugs. She's like, I'm not a god. Don't look at me.
Yeah,
You
Kat's just
haven't
like,
answered my question about how I get into this prison.
Just like the first and second city, there is a bridge. And to cross the bridge, you must pay a toll or answer a riddle. And I personally haven't been across the bridge, so I'm not entirely sure what it will look like.
These,
But
these trolls, do they form a sort of guild or something? We can use the same tokens?
they're
You two are magpies and collected more of them.
they're a little bit different, each one. So I'm not certain, but tokens are kind of the same-ish across the board. The little folk just like to fuck with weird things and then leave them out for people, and that seems to appease the trolls just fine.
Hey, is it possible to use magic to make someone seem like a Celestine?
I was actually having that same thought.
As a thought experiment.
Could dump enough magic into someone to light them up real good.
You Could certainly try.
Would you say that if someone is very lucky, they could do that?
You could certainly try.
In other words, if somebody used a luck point, would that work?
That's only 12.
Only 12.
You would technically you'd be able to make somebody that was passing as a Celestine to almost anybody. But the Alfrey kind of operate on a different sensory level, and they would not be fooled by it.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not talking illusions. I'm just gonna dump a bunch of magic into someone to like give a bit of myself to them.
Let me think about it.
All right. Because cat's
Like
working on-
rubbing off your scent on somebody.
Oh. Sorry. Go on.
I'm not excited about spending the rest of my life in a prison. Especially if you go insane. It seems.
Well, not the rest of your
Fun.
life. Just, you know.
Yeah, 2
until
seconds.
they kill you.
Yeah.
Why do you
Die.
assume when you can enter? Why you simply can't leave?
Okay, so
I mean, I'm assuming that there's gonna be like a ton of those monsters crossing the bridge right after me.
so the third city is a labyrinth that I guess the best way to describe it would be in a metaphysical way. Fourth and fifth dimension of pure chaos. A lot of the things that have been locked in there are locked in there because they are impossible. They shouldn't exist, and they do, and they're destructive because of it. That energy all locked together creates an altering reality. It changes people, and it's not so much that people cannot turn around and open the door, it's that the door is no longer there when you walk in, and finding the door is rough. I mean, it's doable, people can do it, but to go in there to know it, you will not come out the same person.
That sounded like the description of our HR department.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. For the DMV.
We are too much.
Yeah, I think I have a better chance of getting through that than you do, Daniel. No offense.
Maybe.
There's also the fact that I'm really, really hard to kill.
I'm not keen on you dying either, so
Hey, I'm really easy to kill. I can also do it.
Just a guy.
Well, I simply wanted to propose looping back to the bridge, but 5 dimensions make it even hard to imagine for me. So I don't know how the loop works in 5 dimensions, how it looks in 5 dimensions.
Look. All I'm saying is I am truly just a guy in this situation. So if Danny Boy can light me up like a Celestine, you guys, with all your tricks and magics and things, can, prepare something. Because otherwise I'd just be standing around with a gun and a baseball bat.
maybe there's other tricks we can do. Think about it for a little bit.
Isn't there something like a stun bomb for them, against them?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Do you know something that could stun them, those Alfrey?
Stun?
Yeah. I just thought like flashbang only made of magic.
I saw your daughter Daniel, the girl in the photo that you showed me. She was able to set off something like that, a flashbang of celestial magic that temporarily disintegrated them. They broke apart and weren't able to reform until the light had significantly faded from the area, and they were able to build their shadows again.
Okay. So
Because the easiest way to get back maybe actually simply through them, lure them in, go through them back to the bridge. We just need to find a way to do that. So stunning them might be a kind of way to do it.
That could work.
I have just the base of an idea. I want to try, like, I'm thinking maybe I leave like a bit of my essence here and then just reform from that.
Like a doppelganger
Yeah, like
to
a
pull you
clone.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could
whatever's
work.
left of me stays there and dies, and then I just come back here.
I would most certainly need you to roll for it when the time came. But that could be an option.
I'm thinking that's what I want to do. I'll toss that in the group.
Well, yes, finding a way to simply teleport back here, that does
It'd
sound
be a
like
little
the
more
best possible
complicated than
idea.
just teleporting. I would
Yeah.
die, but I wouldn't. I would come back.
Any sentence that has die but is a bit weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I think that might be the only way. Like, we guarantee that they go in and that they stay there for at least as long as I can keep them there.
Should have cut that tooth.
Unwanted just gives you like a big shrug, like, huh, you lost out.
I don't know.
It was
why.
weird, man.
This is the place of lost things, right?
My mind just went to that old Star Trek movie where Spock like mind melds with the Doctor right before he goes to die,
Hmm? Yeah.
and then
like
later
that.
comes back.
All right, so
This is the perfect place for me to lose a part of myself.
Are you sure about that?
Sounds like Vegas.
Everything here would help me do that.
That's fair.
I
We
think this is a
would-
good plan.
we would need to put your essence into a golem for the time, though, to keep it safe and protected from anything that might come hunting for it.
I thought I would just give it to Gabby.
Magic jar.
Gabby's like, wait, I'm not staying here.
No, God, no. You should go home. And then
No.
hopefully I'll be
No, I'm here to help you. We have to finish this. You can't just
there. You're not
Set-
going into the weird shadow realm with me. I'm going there alone to die. And then hopefully if you survive here,
her eyes well up and she's
I
like,
know,
I
it's awful.
can't.
The
I-
cat just like without reading the temperature of the tone or anything just goes, I could make Gabby into a golem.
Hi, Jesus. I'm just looking at the rest of the group. Yeah, this is why it should have been one of us.
Mhm.
We avoid this whole situation.
I think this is the only way.
So, all right. So it sounds like we have at least the shell of a plan.
Go to the bridge. Get me across the bridge. Hope everything works out.
Yeah, die but was weird, but acceptable. Hope for the best doesn't sound like that for me. Let's tweak the plan a little more. Because
What do you got?
we can get you to the bridge. That's the part I'm pretty certain is the only way. But how can we help you from then on?
I don't know.
So
Good
Amelia is Amelia stands up and she kind of like makes a loud sorry, I have a maggot in my throat.
Oh,
And she spits.
why would you
a
tell us
maggot.
that? Ugh.
Cat just kind of just like a gross.
You made out with that.
Yep.
And Amelia looks at the Rust Queen and then at you guys and she says, I don't know how she doesn't know this. The toll on the bridge is going to be steep, and I think we should figure that out
What the
before
toll
heading
is
out
before
there.
Going. Okay.
What's the price?
Is the Duke
Blood,
covered in gems?
a
You've got one over-
sacrifice of blood and bone.
Oh,
But that's
well,
what we need to get to the other side. We need my body to go over the bridge. I can't just.
Fantastic.
Cat just pulls out like her weapon that she's never used, which is has the tags of what was it? Magic and bone. It's a bone weapon. It's like, well, I've got this bone, and she just like looks around at like the slaughter of everything, like
Man,
blood.
it's
everywhere.
Plenty of guts.
Um,
I'm
Is she
assuming it's
like-
got to come from me, right?
no, it doesn't have to come specifically from you.
Oh, great.
Uh,
I'll just take one of these dead bodies with me, and Bob's your uncle.
I
Yeah, just-
mean,
Yeet it into the bridge.
I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work like that.
What, do I need two?
Amelia, kind of
Oh
like
God, you're talking about
fidgets.
yourself, aren't you? Because you're like a zombie thing.
I mean, I bleed, so I would count. But from
Cat
what
just like, that's not an option.
from what I have understood, as the Rat King has described it, it needs a sacrifice for the bridge, a sacrifice with intention. You must spill the blood and offer the bones of something to get into the city.
Well, what then? If it's
I
not
mean,
Well-
me, and it's not
we can
these
start a
dead
blood drive.
bodies.
You would have to kill somebody on the bridge.
Oh, and you're volunteering. Is that
I
what
mean,
we're
I
hearing?
am undead.
Cat volunteers and says, use me. Trust me.
You're
I'll be
immortal.
fine.
Aren't
So-
you immortal?
Yeah, I think the
I
bridge
still-
would give a big
That is-
no to that.
Gotta circumvent the
still-
whole dying part of it.
I still die, I just come back.
Look, you're gonna come back as part of the bridge, by the sounds of things, and that's gonna be a nightmare worse than anything I could imagine. To spend your life as a part of a bridge to the prison realm.
Y'all are giving me some great ideas.
I don't think we should be doing that, Cat. That sounds like a really bad idea.
I mean,
I don't
we
know her that
know
well,
that I would come
so
back
I'm
as part of
fine
the
with
bridge.
killing you, Amelia. No offense.
We're not killing Amelia.
What? My wife is the only one who can lose someone. You can't.
Why are we talking in those
It's happening!
All
All right.
I need to.
Well, no,
I need to roll
no.
magic.
Stop!
No, 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 no.
Stop volunteering to die. Let's
It's
simply
already,
hunt something
it's
down.
already happening. I'm
No,
rolling
this-
magic.
This will help.
What are you rolling magic for?
I don't
Cat's
know.
gonna set Daniel's shoes on fire.
Sure, that will be helpful.
That's an 8.
You
Daniel pushed a sensitive button.
Fire's a keyword for me, so I think I can like turn that into holy fire easily enough so that
Yeah.
it wouldn't do anything.
Cat's not like trying to seriously harm Daniel, just to
Mhm.
like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I think I can. I'll also make a roll to be fair, to see if I can't negate that.
Is the
There
rest
we
of
go.
them coming along for this?
Awesome.
What was
Now I
that?
have
got it.
awesome flaming shoes.
Make it go
Sorry.
fast.
Is
What
the
did you
Rust Queen
say?
coming along with to the bridge,
She's
or
offered.
just sticking around?
She's offered to help you however she can, but she has to confer with the rest of the courts to get their assistance.
Cat,
Because their plan is to do something to keep them in the prison, right? Or
Yes.
To
I mean, how hard is it to resurrect someone? We're in the Fey realm.
Oh,
Cat chimes in, like, sets the shoes on fire, then says, "Wait a minute. If you need that sacrifice to get across the bridge, then how the hell did the things get out of the city and across the bridge?"
Amelia looks really uncomfortable for a moment, and she says, "I'm pretty sure it's because the bridge closes once you're inside, and the only way to get back is having somebody outside open the bridge again to open that door."
Okay, and who would that be then?
Wait, which side is which? Because I'm now lost.
So, hold on. So
If
you
someone
have
from here opened the bridge,
yes. So
So
you have the
somebody
city
let
of Bone.
them out from this side?
Well, Demeter's magic operates a little bit differently. But for intents and purposes for you guys, the bridge is like a one-way road. So somebody crosses the bridge and gets inside. Somebody outside has to open the bridge so somebody can come back from the city. The Alfrey, because they're primordial, they as long as they can get out of the walls, they don't need a bridge. They are the essence of horror and destructional fear. They get away with a lot
they
once they're
don't use
free.
bridges.
They don't need bridges.
Where we
Cat just looks
going?
at the
We
Rust
don't
Queen and
need
is like,
bridges.
"Who the hell designed your cities?
Gods. And that's why it's such a shit.
How does anyone get anywhere in this place?"
That's not the point. The point is to make you suffer.
No, I think the point is that there's a fundamental flaw in the designing of their cities if this is what you have to do to get somewhere.
The
No,
Rust
this is
Queen.
the point. The point
like,
is to make you suffer.
We're not mortals like you are. These rules
Right.
are normal.
So you have no one to sacrifice. How do you cross
Wait.
the bridge?
So if these rules are for us, and we are not exactly normal either in terms of lay, can we break them too? Like,
No.
let's forget the bridge. Let's find a way that ignores the bridge.
You're not old enough. You're not a primordial.
I'll tell you when
No.
you're older.
Sorry.
What if I
Um,
have one of those weird goopy worm things inside me? Doesn't that make me part primordial?
No, that's not quite how it works. You would be primordial once that corrupts you,
Right?
but until
Can
then,
we just
you're
pause
normal.
it halfway?
At this point, Unwanted is like, hey, I have an idea. Yes, James.
Wasn't I meant to be seeing something?
I
Sorry
don't
to-
remember.
Sorry to bring it up out of the blue.
Because he's high.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yes, you are supposed to be seeing something. Let me have Unwanted speak, and then we'll get to the part where you're seeing stuff. Shit. So Unwanted steps up and he says, he looks at the Rust Queen like, "My lady," and then looks at you, "My lieges. Now, if I might be a connoisseur of folks that are unwanted and don't matter to the rest of the populace, might I offer you a prime selection of sacrifices you could take with you? And behind curtain number 1," and he like gestures, and you know for a fact that there was no stage and there was no curtains in this room, but now there is, and curtain number 1 slides open, and you see a vagrant man who could be on death's bed, skin sagging off of his bones. Hair is just caked in debris and mud and awfulness.
Well, you take really good care of your people.
We're the unwanted. And he says, behind number 1, we have a gentleman that New York City forgot about 20 years ago and hasn't bothered to remember since then. Nobody will miss him. You can take him with you. Behind door number 2, and the curtain slides open. You see a gentleman wearing almost like military gear, but it's undocumented. He says, this gentleman has the blood of innocents on his hands. He's a terrible, despicable, awful person.
That's how it works in our world. Sorry.
Hey, anyone got vampire blood, by the way?
Vampire blood? I mean, we can offer up a vampire if you'd like. I'm sure there's some unwanted ones. As Unwanted is talking about this, James Cook, your opium high has definitely set in. As you look around to everybody around you, they don't look like the people that they are supposed to be. The Rest Queen doesn't have any of the markings on her body. She has flowers in her hair, and she doesn't look like she belongs here anymore. Tabitha looks like a bear with massive claws, and her battle hammer is a tree. Daniel has like a set of 8 wings that are just constantly twisting and spinning around him and shedding opulent, opalescent light around him. You see Marco as he is, but he carries a you see him as he is in his wolf form, but he carries a shadow of something bigger, like a deep burgundy burning aura that follows behind him. And you look at Kat, and Kat looks fantastical and splendiferous with like a third eye blinking on her forehead, and multiple hands just hanging around her doing weird stuff, pulling like rabbits out of hats, and attaching the bang symbol to like the bang flag to a gun, and like just like her magic in action behind her. And you see Gabby, who looks a little bit more gaunt and wraith-like, with symbols painted all over her skin, and the air around her seems to move like snakes. And you look at Amelia, and Amelia is like a zombie, just like rotten to the core, where her skin is constantly trying to re-knit itself back together, and like in a constant state of decay and healing. And you're sitting among this wild cacophony of people, like
Ew, wow.
yeah.
Ew.
So is there a curtain 3 or?
Oh yes, and curtain 3, because you didn't like the man who conscripted children into war and
Oh
killed
no,
people.
he's definitely a front runner. But,
All right, and you didn't like my homeless guy. What about?
He's too sad to kill. I'm happy to take 2, but I haven't seen what's behind curtain number 3 yet.
So you do like the depraved. Well, behind curtain number 3, I really want it to be Hitler.
Oh, I was thinking Trump.
We can do it. Yeah, we can do Trump. Behind number
You want
3
me? I am the best sacrifice.
is a fat man with yellow saggy skin and sad hair that just has not held up to the test of time. And he looks at you, and he looks at Unwanted, and he's just He's very confused, but you know what? He's here for a reason, and he definitely wants to be the winner.
I'm just happy everyone's
Oh my God,
forgotten him.
that's amazing.
You know, unwanted man.
An
So
old
this is the-
U.S.
this is the
president.
best future now.
Cat clears her throat and goes, you know, as much as some of these people probably deserve it. And keeping in mind, this is me reminding you all of this. We're all still supposed to uphold the law, and human sacrifice is murder.
The Rust Queen is like, the laws are different here. I'm not going to tell anyone.
That doesn't really fly with
no.
corporate.
No,
I'm
hey,
off duty.
come on,
so-
people, look at me.
It's
Imagine me allowing this, and
Tabitha.
let's go to the next idea.
All right, I had an idea.
I picked the fat guy.
I had an epiphany.
No, we are not going with that.
I had an epiphany.
Yes.
Okay, shoot. What is
Okay,
it?
shoot.
I've seen vampires created before. So, what I'm suggesting here is we get some vampire blood. Right? I'm a normal dude. I can die on the bridge with vampire blood in my system. I don't know if this is how this works in this universe, but I could die on the bridge with vampire blood in my system. So when you take me out, I'll come back as a vampire. It's not preferred, but it's the simplest solution I could think of.
So it's a variant of die but.
Right.
Yeah,
but
I'll be back though.
I'm thinking you get
Unless
sucked
you're
into
part of
the
the bridge.
bridge.
As
If I
Dan seems to
become
think
part
is
of a
gonna happen.
bridge,
Yeah, that's bad. I don't want to risk that for you. Now,
Oh,
him,
don't-
on the other hand, he'd
don't
make
worry.
an excellent flagstone.
Unwanted has me, right? Unwanted.
Sorry, say that one more time.
Listen, if I become part of a bridge, I will no longer be wanted, so I will be perfect for you to take along.
Unwanted looks at you and says, that could work. That could work.
Really?
Maybe.
Can you yoink any of the other bridge pieces? I mean, you can try right now. There's like 50 people in that thing, I imagine.
Cat's just like,
But-
you know, if I become part of the bridge, I would just burn it to the ground.
Why? But why are you assuming this is people become part of the breach? I didn't
That's the
infer
way she
anything
said
like
it.
that.
She said, you know, sacrifice to the bridge.
Is it a
I'm
people
assuming
bridge?
the bridge
Yeah.
is made of blood and bone.
Is it made
I
of
mean,
people?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what I'm thinking.
I mean,
Am I wrong here, Amelia? Is that not what you said it would
Amelia
do?
kind of shrugs and she says, I don't, I'm just regurgitating hearsay from the
Okay.
Rat King.
That's
Wait a minute.
literally. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. Let's get to the
Yeah.
bridge.
Wait, but vampire blood. Anyone
Let's
got me?
get to that bridge, and if somebody is piece of that, with their soul and stuff, I bet you can talk with them, Cat.
It's simple
Want Cat to
mathematics.
talk to the
I could
bridge?
certainly try. Or, you know, if it's made of blood and bone, we got tons of bodies here. Let's just make our own bridge with blackjack and hookers.
Oh God, no!
I love the fuck out of that idea.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
I have to approve.
God, no!
Music scene in the corner. Yeah.
I'm not part of this idea. Listen, I suggested simple mathematics. Simple mathematics. You got a human, me, vampire blood, still need to acquire, and you
But
have
I
death.
like you. I don't want you to be part of the bridge.
Look, and you have death. All right, you add those things together, you get the death needed, and you get vampire. So I am undead, but not fully dead. Simple,
I love that
simple
this is a more
mathematics,
difficult
folks.
decision
So-
than me walking
He's
into
just
the place.
mostly dead.
Amelia.
Simple mathematics.
Amelia fidgets and pipes up again. She says, Fey law and Fey lore can be very, very literal. And I don't want you guys to lose yourself in the event that you are crossing hairs trying to find a loophole around this. because if you do this loophole and it doesn't work, some of you are going to be trapped until we can find a way that works.
Yeah.
And
so
if
let's
the
just
Alfrey
off
are
the fat
chasing
guy.
you, yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Listen,
No one likes him.
you know,
We're,
Can't-
we're police. We can't do
can't
human
do it.
sacrifices.
I mean, you want me to quit?
We need to find a loophole
oh god.
because actually I'm opposed to that idea, but finding loopholes in law is how this entire world works now.
Look, I
Even though we are
consent to being a
we are police.
sacrifice. I've already done all the paperwork. It's right here.
He's basically the king of bad ideas. I'm sure he's on board
James.
just because it's a terrible idea.
James, while you're trying to sell your party on this, you find yourself verbally tripping and slurring, and suddenly your surroundings are different.
There's a phase 2 to this process.
Your high just keeps going.
two for piece of one, two for price of one.
You're mentally transported, and in the essence of being transported, you pass a flickering of images. These images are large blinking eyes that are like goopy and wet and like tears sprouting out of their eyes every time they blink, to mushroom spores that like poof up and catch you and turn you into the next thing. And then you see a woman with silver hair standing with a candle at the edge of a dark abyss, and she looks back and blows the candle out, and in that darkness you are catapulted again, and you get the rush of what you like, different temperatures passing over you and colors swirling, and you come and stand at the edge of a bridge, an ivory bone sculpted bridge that's beautiful for all intents and purposes. And in the bones of this bridge you can see the veins, like what would be like almost a nervous system that's like filigree wrapping around the bone. And ahead of you, you see where the bridge ends, and beyond it you see a fortress, a fortified fortress of red and white, what could be stone but is likely bone and tendon and muscle that's holding this third city together. And you are just filled with a cold chill, and you watch as somebody steps forward through you almost like a ghost, pulling somebody with them. And you watch as this figure sacrifices their prisoner, and as they do, the blood runs back towards you down the bridge, kind of filling in the fissures that the nervous system filigree had left behind. And the bridge, almost like fast-growing sinew and bone, spreads out and connects. And in the fortress, a door opens, and this figure crosses the bridge and goes forward. The door closes, and that half of the bridge disappears again. And you have the ability to move around in this environment. Briefly.
I think the only thing that James says is probably, I don't know if they hear me, but probably like, I wouldn't mind being part of that bridge.
Nice bridge.
You guys just hear him talking to himself.
Yeah. See, Cat not seeing any of that and thinking James is just like losing it, is gonna look at the rest queen and say, "Wait, you said gods don't have to deal with all this bullshit, right? They can just go across."
Not quite, but generally, sort of. And James, you can hear this conversation like you're underwater to it. So you can recognize that it's Kat and the Rust Queen speaking, but it's garbled, like you're holding your hand over a microphone. And in the moment as the Rust Queen begins talking again, you are zipped back into your body. And the Rust Queen continues to answer Kat, and she says, sorry, I'm reading the chat comments.
Yeah.
This is why
They're great.
I try not to read consecutively because I'll just be laughing the whole time. The Rust Queen continues, and she says, it depends on the power that the god has. Some gods have power to be able to walk through these things unscathed or unmarked or unharmed until they, of course, enter the doors to the third city, because this third city spares no one. But not everybody does. Not all gods want to go there. But
I don't care about who wants to go there. Which ones can?
she takes a deep breath and she says, I'll put a list together.
Why is that important?
Fantastic.
I mean, the bad
Oh,
guys won't follow a god.
No, but I imagine there's a way for us to get a piggyback ride.
Exactly. We need to find a way around this breach because we can't, and I look at Daniel sternly, we can't make mortal sacrifices.
Kat just like, yeah, I'm drawing a line at human sacrifice.
You guys
That's
have some
fine.
really strange moral lines. You know that?
I mean, we're cops.
We're against
we kill
murder?
people who are living. That's
How
our
is
whole
that a
job.
strange
Oh,
moral
Jesus.
line?
Yeah, exactly. How is this a strange moral?
the-
That's a very good question.
So the Rust Queen, she says she'll make a list of all of it, of the gods that can do that, or
Right.
the gods that might be willing to help you. But she also reminds you, she says that if I can get the other councils to help me, then we can push the Alfrey into the into whatever, and the gods, we can make that sacrifice. You don't have to go to the third city, but if you want to try and speak to Demeter, you'll need to.
I thought
But it's
the whole
not
point of
necessary.
this was for me to go to the third city.
Hey,
Options. You have options.
revisiting something really quick. You know, Daniel wants to do the whole thing where his essence is trapped in a golem. Why can't we do that for the sacrifice? Put someone's essence somewhere, kill them off.
So the way that
Because
the
we'd have-
Fae look at a sacrifice is that you actually have to lose it. It's not a sacrifice if you're not actually losing what you're sacrificing.
Okay.
So James' plan would work better because it's sacrificing James' humanity.
Yeah.
I have good ideas.
Not a terrible idea.
But
I just
Kat
don't
just
like
looks at
the
everybody and
idea
goes,
of you getting stuck in the bridge.
Kat looks at everybody just like, so we're not sacrificing anyone. So if we can get a piggyback ride with a god, I don't care if that's what they want to do or not. I can be very persuasive through persistence.
Hey, if a god can yeet me across the bridge, that's fine with me.
Yeet.
Yeet me.
I'm good with the
Um,
lingo.
So the Rust Queen does concede to putting more information together so that we can work on this. We are at the end of our session now, so we will have to come back to this for the finale.
God, all this planning. It's both the best and worst parts of RPGs because it's so
I
fun,
know.
but it takes forever.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had like a straight up, like, because we are so much further than I thought we were going to get in this storyline, that I have been ad-libbing most of this session because I'm like trying to pull the pieces of everything that I did have and put it together. But if I had a more concise plan, I mean, it wouldn't be such a planning process, but I don't think that would be very fun for you guys.
No, this has been great. And if everybody's cool with it too, I'm okay going, obviously a little bit longer next week for the finale if we need to fit more stuff
Cool.
into.
If you guys are cool with it. I think I
Yeah.
can manage to get us down within our usual allotment of time, but we're going to be going really quick.
Yeah. I always assume that finale episodes will be a little bit longer than standard
Sweet.
episodes.
What if
okay.
I put a gun in Trump's hand? Can I shoot him then?
Oh God! Oh God!
You mean the
No, I
similar
get
to
it.
legally
It's a thing.
distinct
It's a
from
thing.
that
Okay.
guy?
It's good.
Hold this real quick for me.
I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
you could just bring the sacrifices Unwanted gave you just in case. Because I could give
think
you a
Econorlax
reason
has
to
a
kill
big
him.
line there, and I think we
I
should
cannot-
respect it. Even
That's
though
fine. That's fine.
I'm joking about it, but I should.
Cat has a pretty big character line there as well, with being like she's chaotic, but she's definitely chaotic good.
Yeah,
Murder's definitely a line for Cat. She won't cross
Tabitha
that.
is okay with bending the law, especially where there's paperwork involved, but such outright breaking it is out of question.
Look.
Yeah.
My vampire idea was good.
I like the
It
vampire
was fine.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Player-
that's closer to
player?
bending.
Player loves the vampire idea. Cat is a little less convinced on it.
I'm not
Solid.
sure it will work. That's the main problem.
Yeah. But this was fantastic.
I'd be more okay with that if it was someone else that we were vampirizing and killing, besides James, because he's a good guy.
Oh my goodness.
It's fine.
James has worked
It's
so
okay for-
hard. So
It's okay
hard.
for police person to sacrifice themselves more than it's sacrifice somebody else.
Just in the line of duty, guys.
Exactly.
I
Line of
love-
duty.
Pretty sure you get
I
a
love
bonus for
how-
that.
I love how the most chaotic character and the most lawful character in the party are coming together on something, and everybody else is like, "It's just a little murder."
Whoa. I never suggested murdering anyone else.
Okay, that's fair. But
Sounds
anyways,
pretty
this was
simple.
fantastic. I had a lot of fun. I'm so sad that this is ending next week because
Yeah.
I love this world and I want to come back to it at some point.
I mean, you
and
can.
of course,
The world is still there.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully, if we win.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the world is continuous. Like there's so many different facets of this that if we wanted to do a one-off or run another game in this world, that would definitely be an option for you guys if
Yeah.
you wanted.
That would be fun, and I love this cast too. It's fantastic.
Y'all
we're
the
gonna
best.
Bunch.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a
you.
raid for now though. So we're
Shouldn't
gonna
we
give everybody
say
a
what we liked and
Oh yeah.
all
I was
that?
literally about to say we're gonna give everybody a chance to say what they liked,
Okay.
and where we can find them online and all that good stuff. Before we do, so let's start with Yaz. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you online, and anything else you want to share?
Dude, the hardcore character burns you give each other, top notch. It's my favorite part this time. Just like the continuous banter between each of you, like your characters responding to your characters. Perfect.
And where can we?
Oh
find
yeah,
you next?
sorry. I don't know what my problem is on Friday mornings. I'm like, you can find me next on the season finale Wednesday of Exodus, or I periodically stream here on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, or whatever under Y Tatiana Art or Bodalia. And yeah. Oh, I was gonna post the thing for my shop.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So that's where you find me next. Ta-da!
Awesome. Thanks. Econorlax, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you'd like to share?
My favorite part was definitely, except that great one-liner about talking about sex education, me coming to sort of agreeing with Daniel, because I know he's a disgruntled cop. I know also daughter is most important to him, and I knew there are some lines we can cross, like maybe into violence to get her. But we have to put a line somewhere, and Tabitha knew that since the beginning that it might happen. And this might be an example of that happening, that we can't do anything and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm Lex. You can find me next on my own channel, probably tomorrow. I guess about noon American time. Depends on when exactly I start, so I don't need to give time zone. It will be noon somewhere.
Fantastic. And then Nate, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you, or anything else you want to share?
I will be here next week, same time, and my favorite part was definitely James's opium trip. That was it was entertaining for sure.
That was pretty great. Fantastic. And then Mr. Parr, favorite part? Where can we find you? All that good stuff.
Favorite part, huh? I think it's got to be just the scene with Unwanted, because as soon as it started happening, I was like, "This is Magweed if he was from the Fey realm, huh?" This is
Magweed was a bigger douchebag.
exactly what it is. And I love that whole little scene because it's just great. I love it a lot. You can find me online, Twitter, Mr. Par4E, because somebody took Mr. Par. You can find me on Twitch, Mr. Par. I don't have any other sort of social media for it right now, but that's where you can find me. And Twitter for all my whatever I might have going on, any projects, I'll post there. But that's it for me. Wrapped.
Awesome. And then heading on over to Paladin. What's your favorite part? Where can we find you? All that good stuff.
Good parts today. The conversation I had with Gabby was amazing, and I adored it. I love James and the phone. I love cats. Let's just build our own bridge idea. Like that's my jam as a D&D player.
Exactly.
Right? Love that. So many good things. Where you can find me next is tomorrow over on the Nerd Eye channel, where I'm playing Sparky, a little imp with a lot of angst about not being good enough to do anything, because he's not that good at doing stuff. But we're gonna try, because I'm a hero, I guess, according to the system that I'm playing with, which is called Good Strong Hands, based on all those old movies with like Legend and the Never-Ending Story and the one with the little guy, that one. And the day after that, or normally on Sundays, I'll play Holt, the pirate paladin who tries to make friends with all the evil pirates. And oh boy, we've hit some tough rocks today, literally, because the ships hit some rocks while we were fighting like little squid goblins, which is weird. And our most incompetent person on the ship is now going to be the one fixing the ship. So that's going to be a lot of problems. And then I'll be here again for the finale.
Awesome. That just leaves me. My favorite part. The whole thing was really good. I enjoyed all of it. I did enjoy the Daniel pressing a nerve with Cat. That was really fun. And before that, the Cat being like, "Oh, you look down. You want a taco?" Like the interactions between Cat and Daniel were pretty fun. And then I absolutely loved the fact that Cat, the most chaotic I think out of everybody, is like, "Wait, no, we're not doing murder. we're not doing a murder." And the fact that Cat and Tabitha are like on the same page about something so adamantly is really
It's
funny.
hilarious.
And I think should be telling to the rest of the party. But but yeah, those were my favorite parts. But the whole thing was just fantastic. You can find me next at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, producing School Days, which is our masks campaign. It's going to be the penultimate episode for that as well. And then I'll be GMing Animus Absentus tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. The penultimate for Animus Absentus tomorrow. Tomorrow. And that's where you can find me for the rest of the week. You can also find me on all those links in my link tree. That's got my portfolio, my coffee for art commissions, things like that. The Intrepid store is in there as well. It's all part of the same shop. And social profiles, all of that good stuff. And then before we do go, quick shout out to sponsors: Fundamental RPG, Intrepid, and Grinding Coffee Company. You can go to grindingcoffee.co and use the code RAVVYN for 10% off your order, and it's really freaking good coffee. So I think that is everything from me. We've got our raid cry, which is I'll tell you when you're older, and we're going to go say hi to Encounter Roleplay. They are currently streaming. What are they streaming? Defiant RPG. It looks like Doc Rimbo's GMing. So fantastic. And With a Brick is also playing. Fantastic people. Definitely go follow everybody over there and Encounter Roleplay as well. It's a really good community. With that, thank you again, everybody. I will see you later today. Bye, everybody.
Bye.